Hello. Oh, I was just sighing as a sort of because there's a sort of twilight stage where because I can't see Streamlabs when I'm streaming.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure if I'm live now. At this point, I'm 1,000% sure I'm live. But I just sort of did a sigh as a sort of a bridging maneuver, a transition, so that if it turned out that I had already gone live, people would just see me go, oh. But yeah. But yes, I'm fine.
That was not clear to me.
Hello, everyone. Can I get a confirmation? Oh, extra quiet today. Ooh. I don't know how much closer I can get the mic. Hold on. Let me just see. How's that? Is this all right? Hold on. Apologies for the cascading, recursive nonsense that's about to happen. But I just need to make sure that it's up as high as it'll go. Is this all right in terms of volume? Is it definitely facing towards me? Yeah. Right, okay. Well, I'll try to project a bit as well, because I was maybe talking a little bit quiet. Right. We are back for Disco Elysium. As always with Disco Elysium, I'm going to give a few. I'm going to say, do check the content warnings. I'm going to say that especially because we are entering a game, a stage of the game, probably the next stream or two. We might not get to it this stream, but there is a section of the game that deals with sexual violence. And specifically, one of the plot points um, revolves around the veracity of a rape accusation. Now, it's handled. I think it's handled comparatively well. Like, I don't know. I've seen various takes on it either way, but do be aware that that is coming up. So yes. Right. Where are we? Ah, yes, we're about to meet. We're about to meet one of my favourite characters in this game, Everard Clare. And he's about to try and murder me with a chair. Fun fact, the first time I ever actually played this game, the chair killed me. I just got too uncomfortable and died. The coffee in the giant thermoses is still lukewarm. A stair made of pallets leading up. Taxidermy fish that tells time.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He's with a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Let's get straight to business. There's been a murder.
Welcome, Mr. Bois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Bois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
I'd rather stand.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
I don't sit. It's kind of my thing.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
You're no Titan of Elysium, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Take a seat.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
Oh, this chair is uncomfortable.
So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Wait, you know Gart?
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
What do I got? Keep it. I'm good.
Okay, okay. I respect a man with principles. No handouts, then. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun.
I would appreciate any help you could provide.
Are you all right, Harry? You seem anxious. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it.
No, I'm not about to cry.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
Sliding down the chair like a jello shot.
While Everard is distracted by your odd behavior, the lieutenant's eyes are mapping everything around you. The folder, desk, papers on the wall.
Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
I'm as good as it gets, Mr. Dubois.
Don't be dramatic. I can see your condition isn't terminal.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time. And I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are too.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions. It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
I want to talk about the hanging.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to discuss it with you. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors.
Jim, is that true? Are we door-opening machines?
I'm not sure I understand. If you're asking us to break down someone's door, it's not going to happen.
Come now. I just need you to go open a little door for me and leave it unlocked. A simple thing. Absolutely nothing shady about it.
The stars aligned into a cosmic frown here. He has your fate decided. Bide your time, however, and let the stars continue their course, and that frown shall turn into a smile. Only if you play along.
Why don't you just open it yourself?
Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do. You look like you could run around all day.
You want to send someone a message that the police are working for you.
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. So what will it be, Harry?
Whose door is it?
Oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about.
What do you mean by a weasel?
A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you.
I bet you don't even know anything about the hanging.
Harry, my dear friend, I am what people call a local bigwig. I know everything that goes on in Martinez.
Damn it, fine, I'll look into it. We need to talk about that murder.
Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door.
You called me Mr. Dubois. Why?
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry.
That's what the hanged corpse called you. Harry.
So that's really my name?
My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
I think the odds of that are very low.
My memory is fine, I'm just testing you.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out with my big fat folder.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips. It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
As you look at the folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real RCM folder. It's just another one of those brown folders you saw in the file cabinet.
It's not an RCM folder.
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM. Those Census Bureau people are absolutely corrupt. You should do something about them.
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your actions here in Martinez.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi from the Census Bureau. Like I said, now I'm actually a very busy man, so is there anything else I can do for you, Harry?
That means he doesn't really know anything about you. A pity. The mystery of you will have to remain a mystery for the time being.
So the Census Bureau says my name is Harry Dubois.
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on.
Are you going to ask me how I got in?
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age.
I too am surprised by the resilience and athleticism of this tool I've been provided with.
Yes, Harry. You are obviously in peak physical condition, and I salute both your initiative and your physical prowess. Very impressive, Harry. Very impressive. Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it.
What's in that container that's outside your office?
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
There's something special about it. It was attached to the Falzund crane.
Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
I've just finished investigating the local drug trade.
You've got a lot of spirit clearing up the drug problem alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now, let's talk real business.
Actually, Rivershell doesn't have a mayor. Not even a speck of anger in his voice. That's that then.
Let's talk about my lost gun.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort.
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Does this mean if I do things for you, I will get my gun back?
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
He is not.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
I met Joyce, the company representative.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. I hope you're getting along. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here.
Just pals.
We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I'm helping you find your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy.
What happened to the previous negotiator, Mr. Gaumont?
What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go.
He made concessions for the company in previous negotiations. Why would you let an ally like that go?
He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left.
You called him a midget.
Harry, I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals.
It's hard to say if he really lost his temper, or if this is another one of his tricks. This man almost never angers visibly.
Joyce said the previous Union leader vanished under suspicious circumstances.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Funny. Joyce didn't mention any casserole.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Mine was.
That much is true. His heart truly is in it, though you wouldn't think so by looking at him. If it's spilled blood you're looking for, then there certainly isn't any in his expression or demeanor now.
Everard, Joyce seems to think the Union is lowballing her.
Yes, yes. Low-balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
Why haven't you let her in to see you?
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Okay, let's talk about something else.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here with this Joyce. This is a completely transparent organization. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun. Tell her about everything. Everard doesn't mind.
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now. This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay.
I'm looking into your shady brew.
I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are so many moving parts in my operation, I can't keep track of them all. You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one thing. If you can, make it even shadier.
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about. And he doesn't care either.
Everard, I'm gonna leave now, but we might talk again later.
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Thanks. I was wondering how I'm supposed to get out.
Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
It's not an actual.
Yes?
You're back before the cargo container. It's
So, how'd you like our harbor?
Maybe utopia.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. Right. You talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk.
Any idea who killed the hanged man?
The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing?
The harbour is a prime area of suspicion. In your opinion, are the dock workers involved in the killing?
What a thought! Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course.
Pushed how?
Your dead guy was an enemy combatant.
Did you kill him?
I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills.
He means a more violent faction could easily take care of such a thing.
Understood. This has been of limited use. Still, thank you.
No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search.
Everard said you had the key to a door.
A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open?
He said it belonged to a weasel.
Oh, say no more. I got you. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say.
I'm not opening this door for myself. I'm opening it for all working men.
I knew this man was a commie. And it's a good thing you're doing too. Thanks. What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the whirling in rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business.
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. None of this mess we're in. This jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess.
Anything else I should know about this task, this weasel person? When will he be home?
I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for.
Who he is and what they're fighting for? This is interesting.
Why are you striking?
We're negotiating our share.
Your share?
Aye.
Wait, so not wages or pensions or...
This stuff. They already covered.
However much if... Shouldn't you be grateful then? It's a lot more than most people here have.
Never grateful. Were we ever grateful, we'd have nothing. You fight for every piece.
How large a share would you like?
All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process.
The boss man, Everard. What can you tell me about him?
I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman.
What does bossing the union entail anyway?
I guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties, watches out for his own.
By that, you mean corruption?
By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? And in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciated even. He is, personally, not too lavish.
That desk seemed lavish to me.
He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway, and moralism is the most corrupt of them all.
Are you a communist?
No. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all. Even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't.
The stuff you do aligns admirably well with the World Republic. Why not call yourself a communist?
I have nothing against communists. They are honorable boyaderos. And they have good analysis. But my own code serves me well. If my code starts failing, a code can fail a man as well as a man can fail a code, then I will have to submit to a new one, which may well be communism.
He knows who he is, firmly grounded, has no need to reinforce or elaborate his political identity to himself or others.
I guess I understand.
See, I am primarily a lazy person.
You seem to have spent a lot of time thinking about the political situation.
Sure, I've had the necessary free time. Fortunately, there's always time.
The look in his brown eyes conjures up an understanding. For him, having command of his time is the most important thing. It all comes together now. The way he speaks about scabs, his general attitude. He's a follower of a 500-year-old Franco-Nigerian Boyadero code, itself an appropriation of Vespertine cool. That of a noble peasant or a traveling herdsman. True to yourself, independent in your actions, loyal to your friends.
Maybe I am a Boyadero.
No,
What if...
no. The man sits on the railing, his hands reaching far and wide. Yet it feels as if he could, effortlessly, go even wider, if need be, an endless torrent of time.
Good talking to you. Gotta run.
I've realised that I forgot to read out Kofi's at the start of the stream, so I'm going to do that. Kofi from Snowfire169. Thanks for the lovely stream. That was from the previous stream on Sunday. Kofi from Red Dead Zombie. Early access to Magnus Protocol 23. It's a very common name. How dare you, sir? Also really happy that Redacted and Redacted have created a dream team, hopefully with just as much snark as before. Loving this last part of Season 1 Protocol. Every episode is getting me hyped. That's really nice to hear. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Kofi from Akuma. Tonight's my last night in London. I had such a great time in the UK and I'm excited to return. I fly from Heathrow tomorrow and I'm sure the flight will be absolutely fine. I will make it to my destination. P.S. I did make it to the Globe Theatre and it was fantastic. Yeah! Oh, I love the Globe. And by the time you're hearing this, you will have safely landed your flight and you are fine. So, congratulations on that. Brackets, if it turns out the plane exploded and you died, sorry. Kofi from Louis. Hey Johnny, I now have almost 100 little porcelain clowns and it's all your fault. They watch my boyfriend while he works. That doesn't sound like a thing that's my fault. That doesn't sound like it is possible for that to be anyone other than your fault. And I politely return responsibility for that action. Congratulations on buying almost 100 little porcelain clowns. And good luck getting more. Kofi from Soup, or Soupe. Hi all, first time dropping into one of the streams in quite a while. Big average disco enjoyer over here, so I'm glad I'll get to binge watch one of my favourite authors play one of my favourite games while stuck sick away from uni. Have fun with Harry, brackets wet sock de Bois. And I'm going to use that as a way to say we can now call Harry Harry. He has officially discovered his name, and so have we. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you're sick, but hopefully the streams can be a little bit of a comfort. And a code from Alia Baxter. Hiya, currently editing the lesbian pirate story while you play. I started the second draft earlier this week and already doubled word count in just 2 chapters. Lack of descriptions was an issue. Hope all goes well with your writing. Yes, I have finally finished the first draft of Burnout of my third book, and it is now with my editor. So that's a weight off. And congratulations on doing the second draft of your story. I'm sure it's getting even better. Right. Back we go. I think it's time.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
First, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Epuis Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Why don't you know? What use are you?
You must have me confused with the Copperpedia.
Who's the Copperpedia? I think I need to talk to him.
You, sir, you are the Copperpedia.
Let's get in there.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
I don't know. What do you mean?
I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes.
We just fill this in, right?
That's right.
You knew it because you inspected your ledger. The lieutenant is relieved you know the protocol.
Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Which was it that killed you then? Love or communism?
Huh?
You said love killed you, but when you fell down, you said it was communism.
You're misquoting me, Rooney. I said communism killed me. Love did me in.
Enough.
Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins
1.
with
Assistant.
That's you.
Harry Dubois.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
2. Coroner's case number.
KK57 0803.0815. Next,
3. Name.
NA. Next,
Date of birth.
NA.
Age.
Roughly 50.
dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm gonna write around 42.
He nods.
6. Race.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
7. Sex.
Fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex?
Naively, the lieutenant does not double-check your notes.
El bigo mistako, Lieutenant!
Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th, 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens, motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
11. Evidence of treatment.
None, at least not after the initial examination.
A strange word. Treatment.
What exactly is treatment anyway?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Don't overdo it. It's okay to be unsure.
I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
1. External examination. Summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
The boat has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
The corpse's hair.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet.
Stroke his hair.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a rag doll's head. There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil. More hair sticks to the glove. Hair off the rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull below. An alien landscape. There, dead man. You were someone's child. It's all over now.
Baby.
The lieutenant watches you in silence.
That was some sick shit, Sekopa.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation.
Write down, but amend for high velocity.
Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the bell so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Good thing we got these chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Looks for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose. You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then...
rotate some more.
A really, really bad smell is coming from there now. And some kind of cracking sound.
Enough. Cut some.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that faggoty. Corpse fucking time.
Told you my pig was hardcore.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
Yeah, alright.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
Here. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
No! Let's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Inspect the genitals.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
This scarring is extensive. Way more than a law official's.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item. Hands.
His flesh is cold, icy.
Pleased to meet you. Where are you from and what's your name?
My name is...
I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. From Cappadocia. And your name is Il Corbo. What can I do you for, Il Corbo de Cappadocia?
It's good to hold your hand. Did you like it when I stroked your hair?
I did, Kobo. I did. Reminded me of when I was just a small boy, before this happened to my face and my body. You did me a kindness there. We should do this more often. Be close like this, I mean.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
Working so close to the fumes coming from the corpse must be hard. You realize suddenly that the lieutenant has been barely keeping it together these past 2 items.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal examination. Summary.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add, the moral of this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
All right, N.A.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
From here, it looks as though the clown-faced man is screaming. The tendons of his jaw are torn apart, hyoid ripped from the force of the lieutenant's hands.
Inside the dead man's mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there, sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
Deeper inside.
It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking. Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
There are ancient mysteries down there, Kobo. Ask me later.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus. Hepatobiliary, NA.
Why? Don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
I don't think so.
Neither am I.
And that's it?
That's it. Same for toxicology and serology, NA.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal. Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
Write it down. Keep voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries. Summary.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
What about the injuries we have inflicted?
Oh, so we inflicted them?
This is a team effort.
You mean the incision on the thorax from a chain cutter? That was not a team effort, and I wouldn't mention it. Muddies the water.
I agree. The waters are muddy enough.
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries.
Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
The non-fatal post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
The lieutenant's admission has caused great gratitude in Kuno. He is silent with it. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
The non-fatal post-mortem.
Right. Next?
What's the 4th injury field for?
Nothing. Just in case.
3. Ligature mark.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
The non-fatal post-mortem.
He is deep in thought, eyes fixed on the bright red ring around the dead man's neck.
Why do you say that?
I'm serious. I don't think this was the injury that killed him.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
Why weren't his hands tied? A big man like this, I'd tie his hands when marching him to the gallows.
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
First, how did it go?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. I need a copy of that autopsy for processing.
He's thinking, did I miss something? You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. Your arm reaches out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, dead flesh through the latex glove. It's right under the palm of your hand.
What is this?
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your gloved hand crawls on his features. Everything is silent, all around.
Put your fingers in his mouth.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track.
Play with it. This feels right.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in. A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from his throat. And there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar.
Abrasion collar.
Kuno is silent.
Touch it with your finger. Gently.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
Put your finger in.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
The fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
Feel around first.
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again, never wake.
Push deeper.
Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. The ululations of the limbic system have ended. All is quiet.
There's a cavity, cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Quivering with awe.
Push
Your
deeper.
fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
Wriggle in.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper, until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Ice cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and into your finger.
I feel a solid object, right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
Inspect the skull first.
There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it, from the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
You pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
I got it.
My pig's fucking got it?
What? What is it?
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth. The garden glove is covered in blood right up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
Fucking beautiful!
A bullet.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Keep it, Lieutenant. As a gift.
No, you deserve it. We can log it later. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
God damn right.
And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone. It was all treatment.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. Even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Dead. Dabba-doop-doop.
Dead.
Agreed.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them.
We didn't fall for it, he thinks. There's pride in there.
Who would do this?
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
Why would anyone do this?
to hide something. The real killer? The real motivation? What really happened here?
I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
Maybe the bullet holds more answers.
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
What happens next?
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day.
You'll be gone? What should I do in the meanwhile?
Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Great work, detective.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow.
Necromancer pig? That shit was dark. Going in there like that. Oh, brutal shit. Tell me. Kuno dies. You're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kuno's gonna go out in a hail of bullets. Gonna look like a fucking porcupine.
Porta Rosa, a side alley of the Boogie Street Spearhead. A young man in his early 20s approaches patrol officer Emile Mullins and asks for a cigarette. As Officer Mullins reaches in his coat pocket for the pack of Astra he just purchased this morning, the man shoots him point blank in his chest. Breathless, the patrol officer collapses in the gutter. His right hand is grabbing the armor on his chest. The bullet didn't pierce it, but he can't breathe. On the pavement, the patter of the perpetrator's feet growing distant. Bleed, pig, someone opens a window and says, but Emile cannot see who. His sight grows dim with pain.
I'll be there for you, Kuno.
Yeah.
Kuno, I found your shack.
Yeah? Did you fucking there?
What was with the pig head?
Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape.
Cool pig head. I liked it. I got one too. This one. It's shit.
What?
What is this shit? Fucking on yourself. This is weird level shit. Kuno doesn't go there.
Fuck your shit back to normal. What is this?
Well played. No one saw that coming.
What's with the tube of magnesium, Kuno?
It's a vitamin, pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
It's magnesium, right?
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game. Kuno goes through like a tube a day, rips mag like a motherfucker, and you could use a battle.
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno. He's gonna use it against you, Kuno.
I know all about magnesium. I rock it all the time.
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like you didn't do anything. Like you stayed home playing with your choo-choo.
Fuck you, pig. Don't do mag. You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die.
I've heard enough of this.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom.
I talked to Manana about the armor.
So?
He told me you promised to sick the pigs on him.
Yeah, so? Kuno did sick the pigs on him. Kuno's a man of his word.
Kuno sent your fat ass running around like jello.
Look, pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on.
Good idea.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, that's what Kuno said. Don't be saying what Kuno said back to Kuno. Get the fuck out of here, Patterson Kuno. After this shit, you better have something real interesting to say if you want to stay in Kuno's face.
Yeah, real interesting.
Okay. I'm off.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched.
So there's a lack of magnesium in me.
Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream.
So I need to mag it up sideways.
Mag it sideways? What are you talking about? You need to mag it up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. And the only prescription is insane amounts of magnesium.
You're saying I need to become a magnesium-based life form?
Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to transcend the carbon barrier. Go to the apothecary and buy insane amounts of magnesium. It will reverse the damage to your circulatory system.
Do I actually have any that I want to internalize at the moment? Ooh. Maybe the Jamrock Shuffle. Probably take off those horrible corpse gloves. The book is titled Man from Heimdall and the Wild Fire.
The ship takes off like a silvery mosquito, unfolding its rotor blade arms. She mumbles reading, then puts down the soft cover.
Hello?
Hello?
Who are you?
Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much. If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Shouldn't a working class woman be working?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read.
I'm a policeman.
I know you are.
Everyone can see that. The rectangles.
Do you need the help of a policeman?
What with?
Maybe your husband is missing?
My husband? No, he's not.
So where could he be?
I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his friends? Working?
Where is this going, officer?
So what I'm hearing is, you don't really know where your husband is.
Yes, but I don't really need to know where my husband is. Not all the time.
Wouldn't you like to?
No.
I can totally help you find your missing husband.
Why are we still talking about this? I haven't lost my husband.
She has, though. The husband is totally lost. You should tell her that it's okay.
It's okay.
What?
It's all right to not know where your husband is. Nothing shameful in that.
Who said anything about shame? Stop talking down to me. My husband is not missing.
But he is. You can feel it. Or maybe it's something else then.
Maybe your children are missing?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so where are they?
Are you a policeman or a nanny?
I police whatever I want. Where are they?
They are not missing, sir.
You know where they are. They're at home, smoking. Giving the ladder of vices a chance. What if something horrible has happened? What if they're dead? That's the bad vibe you got before.
They're at home, right? Smoking cigarettes.
What? That's just... My daughters are perfectly fine. They're with their friends down in Jamrock. There's nothing to worry about.
She's getting upset. Her voice has risen as she tries to convince herself that her daughters are safe.
They're almost grown up now anyway. They're past the age they need me protecting them from everything now.
I'm afraid the danger is now greater than ever. Tell me, how old are they?
My youngest girl, Jolie, is just shy of 16. Jenny, she is turning 18 next month. But we shouldn't even be talking about them.
And can you describe me their appearance, any features that stand out? Something to make identifying a little easier.
Why do you need to know this? Haven't I repeatedly told you that they're not missing? That they're in Jamrock, safe and well, at some stupid party?
It's for the investigation. I'm trying to be professional.
There is no investigation here. I can tell you that.
Maybe your cockatoo is missing.
I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here.
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get ladies. It's better to indulge him at this point.
What do you mean I'm being a cockatoo?
Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a great book in the bookstore.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Actually, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Thanks for the tip.
Wonderful. The store is open.
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot of time at work, smoking.
That's all for the moment. I'll let you read.
The woman before you nods and returns to her reading.
It takes willpower to even read the author's name. Jan Kaus, from Iguania. Old sports magazines tucked away in a dark corner. The book collects the national recipes of Arda. They are all about lake trout. Quaint picture book brochure, very colourful. It's a tome of fascist magic. Rather candid. Another boring book, just discarded here.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Storekeep, what books are these?
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. That wisdom is not for free. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
Look at the map of Insulinda.
This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another, far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme.
What else?
Ozon, Laurentide, Fas Alamir, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands. All just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you.
Squint first. Can you see cities on the islands?
You can, on Caillou, Revachon, a single black star, on Ozon, Fond de l'Air, and Vilmandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Deora of the Seven Seas. Lost little pearls of light, tiny fires in the dark. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history.
Look at the edges.
The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seo is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Incelindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. 850 million people live on these tiny dots. An oceanic world of culture and commerce, torn apart by history.
Storekeep, can I buy these maps?
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Why is the one on Martinez so cheap?
That old thing. It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago, they also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps.
What happened then?
They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
I want to buy the map of Martinez.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
A worn and torn map of the Martinez area dated from 48. A title on the top reads, Bienvenue à Revachol. It's a bit out of date, as it was originally created by a design studio in a failed attempt to spruce up Martinez and turn it into a fancy tourist location.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner. Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North. Finally, coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
For a more detailed view of the map, go...
Hooray! Got a map.
The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell. A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title, From A to Zurich, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo.
What about this guide to cockatoos, storekeeper?
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
I want to buy the guide to cockatoos.
Oh, a nature enthusiast. Good choice. I knew it was a good idea to keep that around.
Time way on. Oh, wow, it is. Time has flown by. I should read some more Kofis. Kofi from Red Dead Zombie. Hi, Johnny. Also hyped for next week. The Control live stream and buying a ticket for the Season 2 preview. I saw Sash say you're both looking at house buying. In this economy, Godspeed. I'll pray something suitable comes up for you because it is a stressful process. Good luck. Yeah, it's probably been delayed a couple of months because we're waiting on some tax documents that haven't come back from HMRC yet. But yeah, we are, I mean, touch wood. We'll see how it goes. Kofi from Kate B. Update from last week. Had my annual review on Wednesday, and my performance for the last year was stellar. And my manager said if I ever stop enjoying work to let them know, because they want me to stick around. Thanks for the streams and the community to share good news. What a nice thing to say to someone in their performance review. Congratulations, and well done on being stellar. Ciro de Mirar. What would be Johnny's main skill? My main skill? Let's see. I mean, rhetoric's potentially an obvious one. I mean, conceptualization. I think I'm quite strong in conceptualization, actually. Like looking at the world and twisting it slightly. Inland Empire. I don't actually know if, like, I mean, I'm a reasonably imaginative person, but I think most of it falls more into conceptualization than Inland Empire. Like, I think I'm less prone to get lost in myself and more prone to get a bit lost in the world around me. I think I've got decent empathy. Suggestion? Maybe I can be a little bit manipulative when I want to. I mean, none really in any. I mean, like, composure I'm decent at, but the rest not so much. Little bit of shivers. I like to think I've got a little bit of shivers. You know, walking the city by night, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think conceptualization, rhetoric, suggestion, empathy, and shivers, I think, are the ones that I would be highest in, personally. I think if I had to go with a signature skill, it would probably be conceptualization. Kofi from Tempest Montgomery. Hi, Johnny and all. Congrats on finishing your draft. I find good endings to be the hardest. I'll be looking forward to it. In my writing news, I was accepted to perform at a zine fest in town. I don't read aloud often. What would you have any tips? Thanks again for a lovely stream. Practice. Honestly, just practice and, like, get used to the rhythm of your words. And yeah, just practice until they feel natural. And I don't know, a lot of my performances, most of my performance stuff is kind of self-taught, so I think it's I struggle to give solid advice other than just sort of keep at it, keep practicing, and feel your way through it. And a Kofi from Super Andiness. Great stream once again. Super excited for the stream on Monday, and I hope the both of you all are staying well. Yeah, we're getting through. Right. Before we finish, I'm going to talk to Joyce once more, because I've done her little task.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I spoke with the lorryman at the roundabout.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Wait, where exactly are these eyes located?
It doesn't really matter, and I do apologise for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
She's trying to conceal her excitement, but the slight glimmer in her green eyes tells you otherwise.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I am sure you understand.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
How are the lynching and the strike connected?
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
A momentary lapse of faith.
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
It'll be all of them. The decision is already made.
I have to say, this is not disco.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
What can you tell me about Crenell?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well,
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Aye. Anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Did you contact the company? Tell them to call them off?
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
And who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You'll meet her soon enough, you feel?
This colonel, the one who was hanged. Did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
You don't know how you know. It's not written on her face, nor in her voice. But she had sympathy for this man.
You liked him?
Liked is a bit strong. He was the most charismatic among them. He handled all the talking. His departure left a major gap in the group's communication skills.
His name was...
Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Tell me about the others first.
One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
That's all right, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining 2 mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
We still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Where are these mercenaries?
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbour gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
One must be the goon in ill-fitting work clothes by the harbour gates, the scab leader.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
One is probably in a building overlooking the roundabout.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel.
I have another question for you.
I hope I can answer it better.
What was that about a bloodbath?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivachol West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
That's enough for now.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is
Now
anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Now, can you tell me about these tattoos?
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence. She wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short and fractured, like those of a working woman.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface. She has no excess of emotions for this cadaver. Has she seen dead bodies before? It's likely.
What do you think?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Like stars in the sky.
Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
What travels did the dead man make?
Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this.
What is that?
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
The old, old world passing by, and the new, new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
This man was no brother of mine, but this is his service history.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
What is the use of this map?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
Where is he now?
I've spoken to him. For now, the soul is fastened inside his corpse.
That is precisely what the sailors feared when they drew these maps. A fear of drowning within one's own corpse.
Who could tell me more?
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
It could go this or the other way. Maybe if you're tactful, it could be beneficial. Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere.
I need the information.
Do what you have to do, Detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
That's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
By the way, I've talked to Everard Clare.
You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
I didn't.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or wait, actually, corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic, Verm-like corruption, reaching into the bowels of the earth.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt Verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Yes, your disgusting necktie agrees completely. Let's gossip.
I'd rather talk about something else for now, if you don't mind.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
Thank you. That's all for now.
The Jamrock Shuffle. In a way, yes, you are treasure hunting. Most officers from Precinct 41 do what is called the Jamrock Shuffle, cracking open containers. Most of them are from Jamrock or Coal City, the poorest parts of Revachol, that also overlap with the network of royal catacombs called Le Royaume, just beneath the streets. As children, you would all go underground, hoping to find treasure, and come back with a rat's tail or a used needle. That playful curiosity must still be in you. Who knows, maybe one day the Orbe de Montagne, the Holy Scepter, and the Cocaine Skull will all be yours.
And I think I'll call it there for now. Thank you all very much for joining me. Final Kofi from Red Dead Zombie. Night, Johnny and chat. See you on a later stream. And big congrats on your first draft. Well done. I hope the Pristine Cut gets another live stream so I can hear you hyperventilate your way through heart, liver, lungs, nerves. Heart, lung, liver, nerves. Heart, lungs, liver, nerves. Wrong way around. Also, make sure you chase HMRC. They can be slow. They can, but I'll be honest, there's not a lot chasing them does. It's not the sort of organisation it's easy to sort of find a person to nag about it, but you know, we will see. And yes, there will definitely be another. There will definitely be a Pristine Cut live stream where I do some live performance, probably in October, I believe. Right. Ooh. Right. Thank you all very much for joining me. And yes, we'll have. We should actually have a MacGuffin stream this Sunday. I know we've been inconsistent with them lately, but we should have one. And Sash will be doing Jane Austen Book Club on Monday. I will be, I believe, doing a Control live stream with Alex for. I need to hunt him down about the details of that, but it will almost certainly be happening. Well, it will be happening. So thank you all, and yeah. Until then, thank you very much for joining me for this most disco of Elysium. And until next time, stay masculine. Bye.